AFCON qualifiers. I think the talk of the town for AFCON qualifiers for 2025 is Ghana. Ghana is on the verge of not qualifying for the AFCON tournament happening next year for the first time in 20 years. And honestly, no one can really answer what is wrong. They are just, to me, they're just snake bitten. I mean, that seems like a very easy answer. People would say, "Oh, the players aren't passionate enough." I don't think you need your president saying if you aren't willing to die on the pitch, don't come. That's not really helpful. I won't lie, but they've just been unlucky. If you look at the games, yes, they are on the verge of losing and not making this, but there's an aspect of this where if you look at the games that they've played, right? They played Angola and they've just missed chances, right? Against Niger, they just aren't able to put the game away, right? Ghana's problem may not necessarily be that they aren't motivated. There, you can definitely see there's an energy that's missing with them. But I would say they've just been unlucky, right? And sometimes a bounce goes one way and you win, a bounce goes another way and you lose. Ghana had one bad bounce against Angola, which left them stunned. One bad bounce against Niger gave them a draw. Multiple misses, right? I don't know how Kudus doesn't score that goal against Sudan at home, but it's him and the goalkeeper, and he just has to tap it into the net, but he's unable to do so, and it's saved. Then they miss two other open nets. And then when they play Sudan in Morocco, they score a goal, it's waved off, it wasn't offsides. Sudan scores two, they win 2-0. The team is playing, right? Unfortunately, they don't have the results. And now that comes to what do you do next, right? Do you go and do you get rid of another coach? I don't think that's the answer because you've changed so many coaches if you're Ghana. The players are primarily still the same core. Maybe you need to start looking at the core of players who are there. But it's unfortunate. To me, they've just been unlucky. And sometimes that happens in football. You can play a good game, but you aren't able to convert. And then the other team converts their one chance. There's a part of that game where you have to be clinical. And if you aren't able to do so, you're left on the outside looking in. And that's what happened. And that's what is happening with Ghana. And it's unfortunate. There's so much going on with that country. I mean, I am Ghanaian, so my parents are from there, so I always hold out a soft spot for them. I'm always cheering them on, but they've just been unlucky, in my opinion. I know it's not the sensational thing to say, but if you look at their games, they've had opportunities. It's just not converted, and it's almost comical how they've missed their chances. And so maybe that's just a bunch of players, like Otoado said, who just are lacking confidence. Or maybe that's just some more players who need the opportunity to really put games away. I don't know why they're still trying to put Jordan Ayew as a nine. That ship should have sailed many moons ago. But hey, he scores a hat trick every 10 years and he hangs his hat on that. Whatever. But Ghana's just been unlucky. And maybe they just need this wake up call for them. Or they just need a clinical scorer. Because they haven't really been able to replace a goal scorer since Asamoah Gyan. And that's the truth. But I would have loved to see other nines get opportunities. I think Thomas Asante could be a good option as a nine for Ghana, but we don't see him get an opportunity other than runouts. So we're waiting to see what happens with that. Outside of Ghana, because I know you guys aren't here just for me to bemoan Ghana, the groups are interesting. The groups are looking good. Now, we do have some teams that have already qualified for it. Right. If you look at teams, right, Algeria, Angola, Egypt, Morocco, and DR Congo haven't lost a game. They won all four of their games, and they are headed towards Morocco next year. And outside of those teams, you add in Senegal, Morocco, who is the host, Burkina Faso. You have 8 teams. You have 8 teams who have qualified for AFCON already. But let's talk about these groups real quick. Group A with Tunisia, Comoros, the Gambia, and Madagascar. Madagascar, I thought they could squeeze something out, but Gambia with a big win over Madagascar puts them right back in the thick of things. But they need a result. Comoros drawing Tunisia gives them life, and they can maybe knock off a Comoros, maybe catch a Tunisia. I don't think it's likely, but at least the Scorpions have some life in that group. In Group B, Gabon seems to be separating themselves away from Central African Republic. Lesotho, we're just happy to be there. In Group C, Botswana going up over Cape Verde. Cape Verde was a team that I was high on for a few years, but seems like not that they've had their time in the sun, but still a solid side. But Botswana looks like it's their time, and Mauritania still is a solid side. They have their first win over Cape Verde. Cape Verde has just not been performing well. And that's, I think, the disappointment aspect of it. In Group D, Rwanda is still alive as well as Benin, and they have to be careful. Nigeria needs to get a win. They got 2 out of 3 wins. Then there was the whole Libya situation, and that's a funny thing. The whole Libya situation, like this housery that's happening, is ridiculous. How you leave a team stranded. Sometimes things like that happen. I don't think that's a fair reason, but that was ridiculous what happened to the Super Eagles. But because of that, Rwanda is still alive. Libya is effectively dead. They're not really in it. They have 1 draw. Rwanda has 1 win and 2 draws. But if they can get a win over Benin, I think they have an opportunity, Rwanda that is, to sneak into AFCON. In Group B, Equatorial Guinea is running away with this second place spot. Togo, we thought maybe could have pushed some more, but Equatorial Guinea has this, even with all the restrictions. We talked about Group F. Angola's up top there with Sudan. Ghana needs a miracle to make it. And you know what? Maybe this is where they were just unlucky, and that's what happens. In Group G, Zambia is looking spry on top of the group. But then Sierra Leone is not far out, only a win away from Zambia. And that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. DR Congo, again, we talked about it there. Tanzania and Guinea battling now for the second spot in Group H. Ethiopia could have a say in this, but Ethiopia will only have the 1 draw versus Tanzania, so maybe another draw or win versus Tanzania opens things up and gives Guinea the opportunity to run away with this group. In Group I, Mali, Mozambique with 8. Guinea-Bissau was hoping to get a little bit more from them, but still stuck at the 4 points, so they are where they are. Cameroon and Zimbabwe running away for a moment. Kenya had an opportunity, I thought, that they could have maybe pushed, but weren't able to do so. A 0-point window for them. Same thing with Namibia. And their chances aren't dead, but it's getting late very early for them. Group K with Uganda and South Africa. Uganda being at top of the group, the Cranes have been performing well for AFCON and CAF. We're happy to see what they're able to do. Congo, I expected more, but South Africa is a solid side. They got a draw versus the Congo, but then South Sudan falling to Uganda really are pushing the Cranes further up. And then in Group L, Burkina Faso and Senegal gapped away from Burundi and Malawi. Malawi hasn't won. And then Burundi with their 1 win versus Malawi. It's going to be very interesting to see. Again, only top 2 teams move through. I'm curious to see what happens. But yeah, guys, let me know. And as usual, I'm going to stop talking right here.